vintage sand.
Hello, hello, hello! Did you miss us? I know you did. Of course you did, because it's been, 3 months? 4 months since we... 4 months since we... Not that anyone's counting, except Michael, but the newly surgically improved Mike Edmond, our bionic man. Alright? Da-da-da-da. You're our own Steve Austin. Astronaut. A man barely alive. But they rebuilt him, and here he is, stronger and better than ever. Guys, reintroduce yourselves to our pod of listeners. Team Vintage Sand being...
This is John Meyer. Hello, people.
And
this is Michael Edmond. Hello, people.
And
with a new hip.
He steals my line.
New hip. And your humble narrator, Josh Cabot. Newly turned 60. Mike and John were at the party, and it was a movie-watching party, of course, and the movie I chose to watch for everybody was The Big Lebowski, and it was awesome. I mean, just for this compulsive fornicator has taken my father for the proverbial ride. Just no one writes like that, and only Julianne Moore could. Well, there's some. My favorite Lebowski line is when she shows him the tape that Bunny's in, and he's like, she's like, the plot is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from there. And dude says he fixes the cable.
There's two shots in the movie that I always love. One is when you first see Ben Gazzara. The way
Jackie Treehorn.
Yeah.
The way that it's done, like all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, and he just exudes such power all of a sudden, and that is when they have the shot of it's a supposedly kidnappee with "Viva Las Vegas" in the background of her toes.
No, and the black cab driver throws dude out for criticizing the Eagles.
Well, I hate the Eagles too.
Don't like your music, get your own damn cab. All right.
Have we seen any films over the summer?
I went to see Eddington, and I thought it was among the most upsetting films I've seen in years, in the best possible way.
I liked it.
I'm on Team Eddington.
I am too.
And you guys know how much I love Hereditary and Midsommar,
which I didn't see.
I hated Beau is Afraid.
So did I.
Which was Oster's third film.
Yeah.
But this one, I thought, it's a perfect little fable about the moment that we lost our minds.
Yeah.
As a country. I thought it was terrifying, upsetting.
I really liked it. Actually, I tried to see it again, and it was already gone.
At the festivals, it had a really mixed
streaming
review.
now.
Is it streaming?
Yeah.
Okay,
see
good.
it. Decide for yourself. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. But I did see. I saw the Phoenician Project, whatever it was. Disappointing. Well, it was kind of like Wes Anderson imitating Wes Anderson.
Right, it's like Wes's greatest hits by Wes.
Yeah, there were some nice moments, but just not as his usual. It wasn't his usual high level.
It is to Wes as Inland Empire is to Lynch, going back to our last, because Inland Empire felt like a Lynch imitator doing a Lynch's greatest hits.
And The Materialist, which was very disappointing.
Which was done by Celine.
I found it I thought it was just shallow.
Really?
And
she's the one who did Past Lives, right?
That's right. Yeah.
I was really disappointed.
Well, I do know one thing about her. She's a smoker.
Yes, those two moments.
So much smoking in that movie.
Well, those two moments, it's like, is this a cigarette advertisement?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen especially the character, the Chris Evans character, who's supposed to be so poor. Cigarettes are now $20 a pack at a bodega.
Yeah, I know.
My favorite movie over the summer, though, was a movie called Splitsville.
Heard of it,
comedy.
Haven't seen it.
I don't want to say anything about it. What's her name? From The Materialist is in it, Dakota Johnson.
Oh.
But, and she's, as far as I'm concerned, turning out to be a very good actress, unlike her mother and grandmother. Yeah.
All right. Well, improve on the model.
But it's basically about open marriages, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
It's one of the funniest, cleverest films I've seen.
Is it streaming yet?
I don't know. I think so.
All right, I got to check.
It's been around for a few weeks.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it was at Cannes. It was very well received there. I was not. It's only the director's second film, who's also in it, and they had a production company. And I forget the first film they made. I'd never heard of it, but this was just
all right. Maybe I'll catch that. I was
just wonderful.
I was very pleasantly surprised. But I'm an automatic for Aronofsky, even though I thought Mother was terrible. I really hated The Whale, but I was very pleasantly surprised by Caught Stealing. I mean, it You didn't like it?
Nope. To me, it was
It's a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah, it was a very clever comedy directed by a man who doesn't have a sense of humor.
I guess maybe it may be sentimental, but all those shots they recreated. Our neighborhood, the East Village,
Yeah,
in
I know.
in the 90s, and there's a Kim's video, and I almost fell out of my chair. And
Yeah.
Was it filmed in the East Village?
it was, yeah, but they had to recreate
Yeah.
like Benny's Burritos
Yeah.
and all those places, the landmarks that used to be there. So
Very well acted, but I just thought it was a kind of a loathsome film.
I was surprised by how much I liked the lead.
He's a wonderful actor.
Yeah.
Austin
Butler, yeah. No, and my favorite moment is he always wears a Giants cap. He's a Giants fan, and he's trying to escape from the baddies as a Mets game is letting out from Shea. And one of the bad guys has picked up his Giants hat and is wearing it, and he turns around and he's heading up the stairs and yells at the Mets fan, "Hey, that Giants fan over there said the Mets suck!" And they all jump on him and beat the hell out of him. It's like a very New. It's nice to see Aronofsky back in New York.
Yeah,
I mean, because
I just the movie just revolted me. Actually, I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Aw.
Except I love the cameo of Laura Dern. That
hello,
shocked me.
shocking at the end,
Yes.
look kind of pleasantly surprising.
I streamed a movie recently on Amazon. You may have seen it. Jane Austen Wrecked My Life.
Yeah, I saw it.
Lovely
Yeah,
movie.
that was. I
Okay,
saw that
that's
early
on
in the
the list.
summer. Yeah, saw that at the theater. It was nice.
Lovely movie.
Yeah, mostly in French.
Yeah, it's bilingual. It's the premise is a young aspiring writer who works in a bookstore. That's the French part. She gets invited to a writer's workshop in Great Britain. So you have a section when she goes there that's in English, although some of the people speak French with her. And it's sort of, people kept calling it a romantic comedy, but it's not quite
Quite a
that.
comedy.
No. It's better than that, actually.
Yeah.
All right. I saw Superman in the drive-in. I did my annual drive-in run this year upstate, and that was it made seeing it fun. I didn't love
I
it.
kind of enjoyed it. I liked it better than the Christopher Reeve one.
Well, that's not saying all that.
Well,
Christopher Reeve
but-
one is cartoony.
But the Christopher Reeve one sings because of Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Hoult was fine as Lex Luthor in
He
this,
looked
but
like
yeah.
what's his name?
Oh.
Elon Musk. He looked like a young Elon Musk.
But Lex, my mother lives in Hoboken. He
Yeah,
just shakes his head.
that was funny. But it was that movie was written by about 15 different people,
By
and you
committee,
could tell.
yep.
No,
and I
this
love-
one I liked.
I love this one because they skipped right over the origin story.
Yes.
That I thought was
and
very
I
smart.
love the fact.
Oh, the
spoiler-
part with Marlon Brando in the original?
Yeah,
Right,
Oh.
no, we don't go back to Krypton, and we don't see the Kents picking him up as a baby on the side of the road, and we
And
skip
I
right
love
to
the
him.
fact that Lois Lane and Superman are already in a relationship when the movie starts.
Well, and also that
I
Mrs.
thought that was great.
that Mrs. Maisel was Lois
And
Lane
she was
didn't
great.
hurt either.
She
so,
was great.
Yeah, so that worked for
Yeah.
me.
Another movie I liked, I think I mentioned it to you at your birthday, was Sorry Baby.
No, didn't
Yeah,
see it.
it was it hit at Sundance. It was about a college professor who is suffering from having been violated by a former mentor, and how she deals with it.
Is that the Julia Roberts? No, that's not.
That opens the New York Film Festival next week.
By the way, thank you for the segue. Are you going to the festival?
No, I don't usually go. It's a terrible place to see movies.
It is. I'm trying to get tickets to go see the revival of Queen Kelly. Von Stroheim's last film,
Right.
which they've
That's
restored
the
apparently
movie that we see shots of in
Sunset
Sunset
Boulevard,
Boulevard.
Sunset
right? Yeah.
Boulevard,
That
exactly.
Kennedy
Yep.
financed.
And then stopped financing because Von Stroheim was doing his lunatic stuff, and Gloria Swanson was like, "Nope, done, thank you." So I've seen it before on a big screen a long time ago, but they've apparently found some more footage. So that's my idea
So
of a
now
good
it's 10
time.
hours long?
Okay, all right. Listen, I just wish they
Well,
would put.
Stroheim did have that reputation.
I just wish they'd put any version of
I mean,
Greed out on DVD.
Is it good? I've never seen it.
It's lurid in that wonderful Von Stroheim way, and then
Well, also in the 19 silent movie way, too. Before
yeah.
before we had
It's
censorship in the
28,
movies.
so would have been his last. But he directed a couple of other small films, and that was it for him as a director.
You
He
never
had to-
directed any. Did you ever direct any sound films?
one, something like Walking Down Broadway or something in 1931 that was a low budget and didn't go anywhere. But then went to France, took to acting, came back, and made his living as an actor
Exactly,
again.
yeah.
So yeah, that's all I'm going to do for the festival. And
And he was always Eric von Stroheim whenever he did act.
well, but
But that was a strong presence.
Right. Think about Grand Illusion. I mean, he totally makes that. And I think he does much more than he's credited for in Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think
Absolutely.
he's perfect.
Madame is the greatest of them all. Tell her, Max. Tell her. All right. So we are here. Once again, our ideas have been stolen. I mean, again, if anyone out there is an intellectual property lawyer or you know a good one, because we have been planning since May, since last we met in these circumstances here at Vintage Sand Studios South, Sur-le-Merde, and to do a best of the century so far. And we open the New York Times in the middle of July, and what do we see but the list of the greatest films of the quarter century? So once again, we are on the cutting edge, ahead of our time. What did you guys think about that list?
I have the list with me.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Well,
Yeah,
the way they did it, I was to poll people who work in the industry.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to go to each individual list, and some of them were, I thought, really good, and some of them were terrible.
Nicholas Sparks. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah.
there was one. There was one that I forget who it was. That was even worse because almost every movie was a Tom Hanks movie. And I was like, "Are you his agent?"
It wasn't Tom Hanks.
No. But also they had people from all different levels in the industry too.
Yes.
So I mean, some of which were just like, why even bother?
Yeah, but interesting to me that the director who had the most films on there was Nolan.
Yes.
Nolan had 5.
Yeah.
And few of them which I did not like.
Right, and not Dunkirk and not The Prestige, both of which I thought were better than a couple of
Dunkirk,
the ones
I think, is better than almost all his films.
Right.
Yeah, Dunkirk I like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And who else? The Coen brothers had 4. Paul Thomas Anderson had 4. And again, yeah, maybe Punch Drunk Love. Really?
Yeah, I don't like Punch Drunk.
It's okay.
I love that period of Anderson's work, but I think that is the weakest of his first 4. I mean, it's fine. There's some beautiful shots. Adam Sandler's really good, surprisingly, but it's not that good a film. And we're saying this in the shadow of his new film finally opening. It's got to be better than Licorice Pizza, which I really dislike.
See, I liked it more than you did.
Yeah, I didn't care much.
It's
for it.
not on my 25 list.
Just the scene at the end where they're backing
But someone
the truck
I
down the
know
hill.
has one of his movies on his list, on our 10 best list.
Oh, I wonder what that's gonna. What could that possibly be? Foreshadowing,
I have no idea
sneak
Who you're
preview.
talking about?
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty high on Mikey's list. And what I noticed about the poll that was interesting, sort of the last comment, was that there was sort of a backlash in that there were very few films by black directors,
Yep.
unlike, say, the Sight and Sound poll, and relatively few films by female directors,
Yep.
too. So maybe there is a slight... although Cuarón had 4 films on there,
Yeah.
and 4 very different films, which speaks to how
that's
talented
also-
he is.
Yeah.
But different than the Sight and Sound poll. The audience poll included La La Land and Blade Runner 2049 and Sinners and Little Women and Hereditary and Midsommar.
Sinners?
And,
Sinners is not the first. Well, that's
that
opened this year.
This year, I guess, but all of what I think there are some.
I like Sinners a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Sinners is going to be my favorite film of the year.
It might be.
I don't think.
I don't know. I really liked the part up until
The Vampires.
the vampires, and then it became a vampire movie, and I was like, at the end, it was like, what was the point of this movie? The music is bad?
But to me, it's like the genre shift in,
Yeah,
in
well, I thought it
Parasite.
worked.
Yeah, I thought it worked.
It lost me when I went to the vampire thing, and also there were moments in that section where the actor had such great moments, and it was filmed in the darkest way possible. You could barely see him.
See, I had no problem seeing it at a theater, but I noticed when I watched it on
It was dark.
on TV, it
It
was
had
dark.
nothing to do with that.
I don't know. I saw it
It had
at the
nothing,
theater.
but it had nothing to
But
do
the
with that.
darkness, I noticed I was having trouble seeing it, and I did not have trouble at the theater.
Well,
So
and
I don't know.
Several critics have written about this,
Yeah, well-
so I'm not alone.
no, and but the idea that the vampire thing is sort of a Get Out style metaphor for the way the white music industry sort of, sucked the blood dry of black musicians in the 30s, 40s, 50s.
kind of a
and
reach, don't you
It's a
think?
reach, but I took that as a
But it's a nice idea.
and that one shot where panning across the juke joint as Sonny starts playing.
Oh my God!
And
I mean,
you see West African dancers from the past.
I
and
loved
just-
that. I loved that.
Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler, man. All right, but to be talked more about in March when we do our Oscars and Best of 25 episodes. So here we go with, we'll be doing this as a two-parter. Episodes 61 and 62. This episode 61 will be numbers 10 to 5 on our Best of the Century So Far list, and then we will meet in a couple of weeks and finish it up and take you all the way to number 1. All right, Mike, you want to start us off? What's your number 10?
Amor, which was at my 50th birthday. I was
Everyone forgot that they saw it, though, so... Oh, that's a brilliant and rough
I'm never
movie.
going to one of his birthday parties
Oh,
again.
my God.
yeah, I was joking.
Genius.
But I think it's a great film. Michael Hanke, I think it's his best film. It rates up there.
I'm a white ribbon guy,
With the
but...
piano teacher, Cachet, and the white ribbon,
Thank you.
I would just as soon forget about Funny Games.
Oof.
But I know there are champions of that film, and
I like the piano teacher a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And I love
movie.
Cachet.
I like that. Cachet was very good. Not as good as Amor, and not as good as the piano teacher, in my view. I discussed Amor in episode 18 because it was one of my 10 best of the teens.
Right.
It's a devastating story of an elderly couple, both retired music teachers, and what happens when Anne has a debilitating stroke, and her husband George slowly watches her deteriorate and tries to help her. He becomes her caregiver despite his own frailties, but is determined to keep his promise not to put her in a nursing home or a hospital. Emmanuel Riva and Jean-Louis Trigon give two of the best film performances, in my opinion, of this century.
100%.
They're both just superb in it.
Riva received many awards for her physically difficult performance. At age 86, she was the oldest performer ever to be nominated for an Oscar as Best Leading Actress.
Wow.
How old was he at the time?
He was about the same age.
Yeah.
But I thought Trigon was overlooked for his equally brilliant performance. As a man, he was just crumbling, watching his wife die. Now, most people at the time, I kind of recommended it. I said, be careful, did not like it, except two women who were in their 80s, one of whom is a mutual friend of ours,
Right.
really liked it. And I was reading the list of the 10 best of various people. June Squibb had it, who's 95, had it as one of her 10 best.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
I agree with you. I think it's a great movie. They're so good in it.
Yeah.
And we've never seen anything like that.
No.
Where else have we seen that examined?
That's true. I don't have much of a desire to ever see it.
No.
again.
Well, I told you at the
Yeah.
time, I saw the movie at a SAG screening. I was overwhelmed by it. Nobody applauded. I bought a copy of it, and then I put it in my drawer. I forgot to watch it again until I became involved in this podcast, and we had the 10 best, and I thought, Amor.
We drew you into your life
And
of
I
crime.
drew it in it and opened it, and I go, I guess I got to watch it again. And he, Haneke he's now 83, and he hasn't made a film since 2017, and called Happy End, which also starred Trigon, and that was, I think, his last film, or his second to last film. And he's been directing operas and plays in his
Doing the
native
Bergman
Austria.
thing. Yeah.
Also, forgot to mention Isabelle Huppert plays
Yeah,
the daughter in
right.
this, and Isabelle Huppert.
Say no more.
Isabelle Huppert is great.
She
Always.
can read the shipping news, and I'll be there. I just love
Yeah.
her so much. And under Wikipedia, they listed a few films that Haneke put as his favorite films of 2002 when Sight and Sound was doing their
Oh, okay,
director's
there,
vote.
Paul. Yep.
And most of them were pretty good. Lancelot of the Lake, The Exterminating
Bresson.
Angel,
Yeah.
The Gold Rush, Hazard, Balazar, he does like...
He does like Bresson.
Psycho, A Woman Under the Influence, and then he put down a movie that I hope neither one of you have seen. Salo.
Oh,
Or
the Pasolini.
120 Days of
Yeah.
Sodom. You've seen that?
Sure.
I haven't seen it.
Don't.
It's
It's teenage gay porn, frankly. I'm sorry.
posing as art, maybe.
Yeah, I'm that movie.
It doesn't surprise me at all that he likes Bresson, though.
Yeah, More is my
Number 10.
number 10,
Number
and
10.
it is on the New York Times list. I think it's 95.
Yeah, it should be. And
Should
there-
be higher.
I love films that are one of a kind, and it's one of
definitely
I've
one
never
of a kind.
Yeah, I've never seen that subject treated so intensely and so well.
And if I make it to 80, I'll have it on my 80th birthday.
Yeah, all right. Party time. We'll do it at Alamo Draft House and another round of drinks
That'll
for
be
my
a
friends.
fun party.
Woohoo! John O, what is your number 10?
Okay, my number 10 is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Why not?
2000, directed by Ang Lee. Part of the reason why I chose this movie is because Ang Lee, during this period, was on a roll.
Oh boy.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness,
The
yes.
Wedding Banquet, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, which I love. Sense and Sensibility, which is probably the best adaptation
Of
of
Austen?
a Jane Austen.
I
Absolutely.
think I would agree with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
The
absolutely.
Ice Storm.
Yes?
Brilliant.
Then after Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, he did Brokeback Mountain.
Didn't you do Ride with the Devil too in there somewhere?
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Really
I've heard it's very good. I mean, if
really
you can
good
find
with
it
Tobey
somewhere.
Maguire. Yeah, no, I have it on
And
DVD.
then
I have
after,
seen it, yeah.
After Brokeback Mountain, he did Life of Pi and Lust Caution. And Lust Caution is a criminally neglected movie.
I don't know that film.
Yes, you've seen it.
What's the
I thought
question?
yeah, that's the movie that takes place in China during World War II when Japan is occupying China. You never saw that?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No, I did not
Well,
either.
I think it never plays anywhere, most likely because of the sex in the movie. But it's great. It's a great movie. Anyway, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a reinvention of the martial arts
You
genre.
Bet.
But it's a mixture of a beautiful, elegantly composed, almost chamber-like drama and amazing dreamlike scenes, dreamlike fight scenes. I mean, people fly.
Oh, the flying scenes. God.
Oh, they're glorious. Absolutely glorious.
And a good cast too. That didn't hurt.
Yeah, hold on here a second. My thing is stuck.
They can cure that now.
I know.
Probably get a vaccine for
They can
it.
interpret that any way they want.
Simple outpatient
So the movie
procedure.
is a mixture of rousing, gorgeously choreographed action scenes and two love stories, both thwarted by the conventions of society that the characters inhabit. The title is from an ancient Chinese poem that translates to "Behind the rock in the dark probably hides a tiger, and the coiling giant root resembles a crouching dragon." I mean, it obviously relates to different characters in the movie. Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh are the two martial arts warrior experts whose private codes of integrity has prevented them from expressing their true feelings for each other. There is one scene where that's explained, and there's a moment where Chow Yun-fat takes her hand and puts it on his face, and you're sort of like, finally, you almost want to shout out, like, kiss her, but I don't want to say anything else. Zhang Zi and Chang Chen are the younger, more dangerous secret couple. Zhang Zi's character is not what she appears to be by day. She's an elegant, demure aristocrat and a dangerous martial arts expert at night who decides to steal a powerful sword known as the Great Destiny. And this sets off everything that happens afterwards. The sword, in the words of Hitchcock, is a MacGuffin. It's a device to propel the plot and explore the characters' relationships. Two themes to pay attention to in this movie are gender roles, because so much of the plot is driven by the female characters, Michelle Yeoh, Zhang Zi, and Chang Pei, who plays Jade Fox. That actress is considered to be the first sort of martial arts star. She was a big star in martial arts movies during the 60s.
Oh.
Yes. And also poison. Literally and psychological is very important in the movie. We have poison used on weapons and life choices and experiences that can poison a person's life. The last haunting image, which has been much discussed, is visually beautiful and a perfect counterpoint to the flying martial arts scenes. It's been interpreted in a lot of different ways, but I mostly see it as her way of choosing to be free, because by that time she realizes she's the one that has put all these things in motion that has led to a lot of tragedy. And she's overwhelmed by shame and guilt, and this is the only way that she can be free of that.
Well,
Yeah,
I have no argument with that. It's
Nope.
it's number 16 on the Times list, and
Yeah.
deservedly so.
Yeah, no, and I would love to see that on a big screen again. But yeah, I think
Yeah, it doesn't play
No.
too often anymore.
nope, and
Yeah.
it should. It's just, and also that was sort of the birth, because then you had Zhang Yimou's films. You had
Yeah.
Hero and House of
There
Flying
were
Daggers.
stories that when the movie was first in its first theatrical run, that after that first opening fight scene, audiences were breaking into applause
Yes,
afterwards.
I would not be, because
I
we
seem
never.
to remember that.
Yeah, it was, art meet genre,
Yeah.
and no one had ever done that artsy martial arts film, and
No. I don't think I'd ever seen one before.
I thought it was great. Oh, I loved all those Bruce Lee
I-
Shaolin movies from the 70s, Enter the Dragon and that kind of stuff.
Not
but-
my cup of tea, but this was good.
All right, so my number 10 is going to be very quick because it's Mulholland Drive. And
That's my number 9, so...
Oh, all right. So there we go. So a combined Josh's 10 makes 9. And, we talked at length about it in the last episode, which was our tribute to David Lynch. But, I mean, one of the, I still slightly prefer Blue Velvet, except for the sexism, but only slightly. And it's the perfect encapsulation of Lynch. It's the Hollywood mystique. It's dream. It's the use of 60s music. I mean, we get another Roy Orbison song. We get someone singing crying in Spanish in the Club Silencio scene. And I think the
I
Club
love the
Silencio
Club
scene,
Silencio.
Rebecca Del Rio, that's her name. And the Club Silencio scene may be the best set piece he's ever done. And that's saying something. And as you guys pointed out when we talked about the film in the Lynch episode, the story is just you don't realize what's happening until the end, and then you're like, oh, and it's sort of about a breakdown in a way. And hello, Naomi Watts. I mean, that was really her first.
She's superb in it.
Yeah.
And
And so
yet-
is the other actress who I
Yeah,
don't
she's very
see,
good,
Laura Herring.
Yeah, who you don't.
No,
don't-
I think she does television work. I looked her up.
And wow, and what's behind the dumpster at Winkies, and you get Ann Miller. I know you hate Ann. I love
No,
Ann
but she's
Miller.
great in it.
Call me
Yeah.
Coco. Everybody calls me Coco.
It's her best performance and her last.
Yep, wonderful. And
I love the opening.
Oh, with the dancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pure Lynch. You even get the man from Another Place, Michael Anderson, the person of small stature there. He shows up as the guy sort of pulling the strings in the movie industry.
Right.
You get the cowboy. If you
Yeah.
what was it? If you see me again once,
Yeah, I forget.
that's
the
good.
exact
If you see
name.
me again
it
twice,
says
Oh,
it's-
that's
it
bad.
is wonderful. Dan Hayeda is wonderful. Robert Forster, Angelo
Badalamenti,
is
yeah.
wonderful.
And-
Mark Pellegrino and the great Lee Grant, as well as the rarely great Chad Everett.
Yep. And oh my god,
Oh, that scene is so creepy.
yeah. I mean,
so creepy.
how could that be Chad Everett from Medical Center? We so looked up to him in the
In fact,
70s.
that scene reminds me, going way back to like some acting classes that were in, where there would be certain guys who they were obviously just trying to manipulate a scene to try to have sex with their partner.
Creepy. But funny too. The botched assassination sequence, the shooting
Oh, yeah.
is hilarious.
Yep.
I mean, it's everything. It's a whole universe in one beautiful little package.
Well, the first time
a
you
little
see
blue
it,
cube.
the first time you see it is like almost every time you think, oh, I got it figured out, and then something happens like, oh no, I don't.
That's not right. That's not it.
Yeah.
And what is in the blue cube? So
Oh,
there we
yeah.
go. So again, for a further discussion, listen back to our last episode, episode 60, which is our tribute to Lynch. But so for my number 10, and Michael's number 9, David Lynch's Mulholland Drive from
Marvelous. We saved
2001.
some time.
All right, and
So
that's
I'm up again already?
John,
Yes.
you're up again, number 9.
Okay. Shoplifters. 2018.
You do
directed-
like Koreeda, don't you? Yeah.
Well, I specifically really love this movie. Directed by Hirokatsu Koreeda. In Tokyo, a family lives together in poverty. This is not a biological family. This is what might be known as a chosen family. They survive by shoplifting. The so-called father figure, who works as a day laborer and has injured his ankle, so he's not really working at the moment. The opening scene shows the father with his so-called son, adopted son, in a store shoplifting. He tells his son, as it's Osama, that's the place the father figure is, it is fine to steal things that have not been sold, as they do not belong to anyone. That's how he justifies it. One night walking home, they see Yuri, a neighborhood girl they have seen before, locked out on an apartment balcony, and decide to bring her home because it's rather cold out with them. They were only going to give her dinner and bring her back, but after seeing bruises on her, that's evidence of abuse, they decide to keep her and they make her part of the family. This movie has a great ensemble cast. Lee Frankie, Sakura Ando, who is great in it. Mayu Matsuoka, Kairi Jo, Karen Kiki, and who plays the little girl who's so endearing. You fall in love with her. I don't want to say too much because there's the movie moves along, you learn more and more about the backstory about all the various characters, and at some point the rug is pulled out from under you. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say what that is, but if this movie doesn't break your heart, then you don't.
Then you have
one.
no heart. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because the last 2 moments of the father and son saying goodbye to each other. And then also the last image of the little girl is just so heartbreaking.
Beautiful, yeah. He's a director who has built a name for himself this century, I would say.
Yeah, he's grown to be referred to now as the new Ozu.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a bold statement.
Yeah, but
okay.
it's not totally inaccurate. No.
Um,
'Cause I saw, you've seen other films he's done, right?
Yes.
'Cause I saw one other, I can't remember the name, which I liked.
The one with the people dropping off their babies?
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yes.
he's
Like
done
it.
a couple of films since Shoplifters,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
was
and
after
he has
Shoplifters.
a Japanese series that's on Netflix called Asura, which is about 4 sisters who find out that their 70-year-old father is having an affair.
Oh,
And it's more of a character study than it is like comedy or anything.
so Ozu in that sense of like sort of a closely observed domestic drama.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that makes
Yeah.
total sense.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Speaking of domestic drama, all right, you guys will not be surprised that my number 9 is by my independent artsy film crush, and that would be Deborah Granick. And that's Winter's Bone, which, and I've talked about it so many times that I'm just going to be very, very brief. I'm not going to go into the plot, but it takes place in the Ozarks on the Arkansas-Missouri border, and it is about the sort of clan-like life led by these people. And it's almost, it's anthropological. It's like you feel like this is only like a 2.5 hour flight from where we're sitting right now, but it
Yeah.
might as well be another planet.
Yes.
I mean, it's a kind of life that we would never observe. She discovered Jennifer Lawrence for this role, and she spoke to my group at Brooklyn Academy of Music. I think I told you guys, and she said my students asked her, how did you get Jennifer Lawrence? And she said, we had an audition, and she was the
Yeah.
best person there.
and
That's
I
all.
don't think she had any kind of training.
No,
Yeah.
just wonderful. And
Jennifer Lawrence with Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be in the new Martin Scorsese movie.
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, I just saw
It's
that
a ghost,
announcement.
It's a ghost story.
Okay,
Yeah. He's still making movies.
He's still
in
making
his
movies.
80s, he's still making movies.
And we'll do an episode on it when it comes out. But it's anthropological in that you feel like you've been there, but it doesn't feel patronizing. It doesn't feel like East Coast urban intellectuals looking down
Not at all.
on these people and observing them like, lab animals or something. It's so intensely human.
Yeah.
And the comparison I've made many times before is to Antigone. Because she has to choose between what is right for her immediate family, which she basically takes care of even though she's a senior in high school, and her larger clan, and those two needs come into conflict in a very brutal way. And it's just all the side performances, and of course special shout out to John Hawkes for he was nominated for it for
supporting
playing
actors.
Uncle Teardrop, just terrifying in the most quiet.
He's an actor you don't see enough of.
Yeah, I think he is just amazing, and I love the ending too, because the ending, while it resolves Rhee's problem, Jennifer Lawrence's problem, suggests that the cycle of violence is going to continue, because something bad happened to Rhee's father that sets the whole thing in motion. Uncle Teardrop has found out who did it, and now he is, because of the code of the clan, he now must go seek revenge on that person, and someone from that person's family will seek revenge on someone he's close to, and etc. So and by a whisker over her other film of the decade, Leave No Trace from 18, which
like
we
a
love
lot, yeah.
too, also. Very different.
I think I like Winter's Bone a little bit better.
It's more intense, and I just think it's
very specific too about where time and place, and and it all builds like moment by moment by moment, and becomes more and more tension filled.
And to me, and I've said this before in talking about this film and others, any work of great art achieves both things. What you just said, John, that it is an incredibly well-etched and detailed portrait of a very specific place and time, and yet it's universal. Its themes and ideas are... This could be, as I said, this could be, in the ancient Greece that Sophocles was writing about in Antigone, who also has to choose between one right and another right. So from 2012, I think it was, or 11, Deborah Granick's Winter's Bone has not lost any of its power, I think. Mikey, number 8.
Okay, my number 8, and you mentioned Ghost Story, is a movie you guys might not have seen yet, but I talked about it on our 50th podcast. And this is All of Us Strangers, 2023.
With Andrew Scott.
Yeah, with Andrew Scott and Paul. Did you see it?
No, but I'll see anything with him.
It's directed by Andrew Haig, with a screenplay loosely based on a 1987 Japanese novel called Strangers by Taki Yamada. And it's a British romantic fantasy ghost story. It deals with a lonely screenwriter who has a relationship with a neighbor, but is haunted by the death of his parents when they were only 12. And his parents are played by Claire Foy and Jamie Bell.
Wow.
And
do a whole lot worse
it
than
is
that.
just an amazing film. When it came out, it did get wonderful reviews. It didn't get any Oscar nominations, but Andrew Scott got a couple of mentions, and so did the script. I met Andrew Haig in 2015 when I was a SAG nominated when he was pushing 45 Years.
Right.
Which is another film I'm very, very fond of.
Tom Courtenay.
And Charlotte Rampling got her an
Yep.
Oscar nomination. And we talked a little bit. He's definitely a queer filmmaker, but two of his films have nothing to do with that kind of theme. His first film was his first film, which I didn't see, was called Greek Pete, which was a quasi-documentary about British rent boys that was not that well received. And then his other 4 films were Weekend from 2011, about a gay meetup between two strangers, 45 Years, about an elderly married couple, and the husband's discovery of his first lover's body being discovered in a melting glacier. You saw 45 Years.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
You saw it, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. And then the other film was Lean on Pete in 2017, which was a modern-day teenage Western film that took place in Oregon, which I thought was quite good, too. And
got no play anymore.
No play, no. But he hasn't directed anything else except a music video for the Pet Shop Boys last year, A New Bohemia. But when I talked to him for about 2-3 minutes, and he was very, very amiable, very, like he knew the movie that I was in, which made me feel
Nice.
Happy. And I cannot get this movie out of my head. So it's on Amazon, and I urge you both to see it, and urge everyone. Although I do know one of our regular listeners does not like it, so it's
Well,
not
never mind
universal.
that. Did he say he's going to hire you as the lead in his next movie?
Hello.
No, I think he deals with younger people. And Tom Courtney had already been cast.
And Albert Finney's dead, right?
Albert Finney's dead.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Just checking.
Oh, and I should mention some of his favorite films. He did the 2022.
He did the poll too. Yeah.
Was Black Narcissus, L'Aventure,
Yes.
Some Like It Hot, The Manchurian Candidate, Cries and Whispers, Don't Look Now, and Watership Down.
What? All except Watership Down.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give you,
thought
but
that
yeah,
too,
good
yeah.
choices. Yeah.
So all of us strangers, and Andrew Scott is to me is one of the best actors working
Can do
today.
no wrong.
Yeah, he's just, and I really like Paul Mescal too.
And I had never heard of him before I saw the BBC Sherlock, and he's Moriarty. And
Oh, Andrew Scott, yeah.
yeah, and just whoa,
Yeah.
who is this guy? And then Sexy Priest in Fleabag,
Right.
and yeah.
Did you see his one man Uncle Vanya?
I did not.
Oh, it was something.
It was really good.
Yeah. And it sounds pretentious, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no, he's someone to watch. All right, John O, number
Well,
8.
My next movie is something we've already talked about at length, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Absolutely. Why
That's
not?
up in my list too.
2023, directed by Martin Scorsese. Unlike Lincoln, also a great movie, which centers on a more positive moment in American history, Killers of the Flower Moon centers on a very dark period in American history. In 1920s Oklahoma, the Osage Nation has discovered oil on their land that the government moved them to. I don't know how many times they moved them. I think they lost count by that point. Afterwards, a series of murders of Osage members has occurred, and we learn that there's a conspiracy to steal the oil and mineral rights from them. Great cast: Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Lily Gladstone, who was the real heart and soul of this movie. It's one of my favorite performances of,
Yeah.
Still can't believe
of the
she
last
didn't
10
win.
years.
I can't either.
I mean, Emma
And-
Stone was very good in that film.
And
Poor
I
things,
think it would
but-
be a good idea to show Lincoln and Killers of the Flower Moon as a double feature.
yeah, the
Well,
best and the worst of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's 6 hours.
Yeah, so what? So what?
I'm
You
not
know,
sure. I mean, I
plenty
could
of
do it.
water to drink. You know, you can always have
I
an
could do
intermission and go to the bathroom.
And then
But-
show old Mary.
But is there anything else we wish to add about Killers of the Flower Moon? Because we did a whole episode.
Whole
about
episode
it.
on it.
Well,
I-
that's going to be my number 2 film.
Okay,
Oh,
so we
and
can
I
talk
think-
about it more.
The unsung hero is Robbie Robertson. I think the
Oh,
the
music
use of
absolutely.
music,
does
yes.
is
Yeah.
just spectacular.
And we talked about that before, that the score for Oppenheimer could have maybe used a lesson or two.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got Nolan coming up next. So, but yeah, absolutely, and the fact that Scorsese goes out of his way to de-stylize the violence because it's just
Yes.
very matter of fact. There's no
That's what
fancy-
makes it so scary.
Exactly.
I mean, that
Exactly,
that opening part when you see the man come out and just matter of factly shoot his wife, and he picks up the baby and goes inside
Yep.
like he had dropped something on the ground.
No.
It was just frightening, absolutely frightening.
And as you say, it refocuses tension on the horror of the act as opposed to the talent of the director. And I love
Exactly.
a lot of Scorsese's
set pieces.
stylized violence scenes.
But
Right,
I think this is his best film. I
Well,
know I may
well,
be,
I don't know if it's his best film. I mean, it's definitely up there.
It's up there.
But the thing with this movie is that, unlike any other Scorsese movie, emotionally, I was very moved by this movie.
Yes.
And I can't really say that maybe The Age of Innocence. I mean, some other great movies, but are you really moved that really emotionally by them?
Right,
by
you're
the
not
end of the
moved by
movie?
Taxi Driver or Raging Bull or
Yeah.
Goodfellas. I mean, they're impressive. They're
Yeah.
amazing films,
Yeah.
but they're not They don't
Yeah.
grab you
They
emotionally.
don't. Yeah. They don't tear your heart out.
Yeah, no, no argument there. I mean, and he just defies age and keeps getting stronger and stronger
I know.
as a director.
I
I know.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
For my number 8, again, a film that I have talked about at endless length, so I will not go into too much detail, and a film that has become so much a part of the cultural discourse that it's almost taken for granted, and that is Memento. First of all, basically introducing us, although he had done one film before Memento, Christopher Nolan had, called Following, which is very Memento style, excellent movie, but, announcing, in a way, and we've said this before, Nolan is sort of our Hitchcock in that he makes movies that are critically appreciated and puts asses in the seats. I mean, he is one of the few who does both. And and you can argue each film really interesting. There is my students love Interstellar. There is a huge wave of interest in I don't know. I have to watch it again. Maybe.
I do not care for that film at all.
But what I love, but I would argue that except for Tenet, which is hellacious, and the remake of Insomnia, which was kind of misguided, I don't think he's done a bad film. In the 25 years since Memento, but Memento. First of all, it works because of the 3 actors who are the heart of it. No movie stars, just Guy Pearce and Carrie-Anne Moss and Joey Pants, and that's amazing. And that moment, because of course it's structured backwards, it's part of the, one strand of the story goes backwards, one goes forwards, and they meet at the end in a brilliant fade from black and white to color. And I just, it's hardly the first work that's ever been done backwards. I mean, remember, Merrily We Roll Along, Sondheim's musical from the 80s was based on a Kaufman and Hart play from the 30s where it goes, backwards in time, not to mention Pinter and, right. And so it's not a new idea, but what he does with it is that he does something really Hitchcock with it in that why is he doing this? Why is he telling the story backwards? And then about a third of the way in you realize, oh, he is not only telling us that, that our main character, Guy Pearce's Leonard, has this kind of amnesia that rare but real that allows you to remember everything you were before your TBI, before a traumatic brain injury, but you can't form new memories. And so he tries to keep track of his life and track down John G., the person who attacked him and killed his wife. And you realize that every time he starts a new scene in color, going back in time, you're like, wait a minute, who's this? What's going on here? And you realize, oh my God, that's exactly what Leonard is going through. And so, like Hitchcock using the zoom pullback to physically give you the sense of vertigo. I mean, to really make you feel it, not just tell you that Scotty Ferguson has vertigo. I think Nolan just does an incredible job in a very simple way of getting us inside Leonard's mind in this kind of impossible. I remember when I saw it, my wife and I sat down at a diner and tried to piece it together for 3 hours. And the last thing I'll say about Memento is that you would think once you know the gimmick, and you do learn the gimmick at the end, you think, okay, well, it's going to be like Sixth Sense. I don't need to see Sixth Sense again because I know what the gimmick is. Mm-hmm. I find that Memento gets better and better and better and better.
I've never seen it. I haven't seen it more than once.
I taught it to my students when I was teaching neo-noir, and, it fits in that category very nicely, too. I think it is... I think a lot of what Nolan's done in this... There's a reason Nolan was the only one who had 5 in the Times' top 100.
And there is humor in it.
And it's funny, and it's...
I always remembered that moment when he wakes up and he looks at the bottle and says, I don't feel drunk. No, and when one of the color scenes opens, all right, am I chasing this guy or is he chasing me?
and he fires a shot. It's like, oh, okay, he's chasing me. So yes, done with humor by three very good actors, downplaying and underplaying. It hasn't lost a thing for me. I think it's just brilliant, and I think it's a lovely metaphor for the continuing loss of memory that our society seems to be undergoing, or at least a shortness of memory. There's a lot going on there. If you haven't seen it in a while, see it again. If you've never seen it, please, please, please. It doesn't have the spectacle or the grandeur of Inception or Oppenheimer or Dunkirk or any of those, but I think it is. I think it's amazing, and it's never left my top 10.
A lot of people still consider it his best movie.
I do, in spite of the complete lack of fireworks and atomic bombs going off. So there you go. We come to number 7, Mr. Edmund.
Number 7 is one that is not on anybody's list, except mine.
We love those.
The Queen.
Why not?
I think it's one of the, if not the best biographical films I've ever seen. Most films, and this is something I've kind of talked about before, biographical films fall into two traps. One of them is they try to do too much.
The whole life.
La Vie en Rose is the perfect example.
Oh.
Marianne Cotillard was wonderful
Love
in it.
Marianne Cotillard.
But, oh my God, that movie was a slog. The other one, and this is a movie you guys like more than me, and so does most people, is Patton. Patton,
yeah, I like
he's
Patton.
great in it, but everyone else in that movie
Kind of bland.
are very, very bland. I mean, Karl Malden, was Omar Bradley really this dull? I mean, Karl Malden...
Now that's a question you don't hear too often. So,
Come on.
How about that Omar Bradley?
I had an argument with
He's the
a...
life of the party.
It's like a Seinfeld thing. You want to talk boring generals. How about Montgomery?
I had an argument with a friend of mine who thought Karl Malden should have won an Oscar as well for that, as well as George Scott. And I said...
Malden was on the original production of...
Malden was more interesting in his American Express ads in the 70s.
You are about to witness a crime.
Yeah, he had more depth than he does in that. But,
Streets of San Francisco.
but
Yes,
all of
a
the
Quinn
characters.
Martin production.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about Patton anymore. Frears the Queen avoids both traps. Most of the film, for everybody, and I think most people have seen it, covers 6 days in the life of the royal family's life in 1997, after Princess Diana was killed in a car accident, and the Queen's reaction, or lack of reaction, to the death. Considering all of the members of HRH were still alive, as well as Tony Blair and his wife Cherie, Morgan's screenplay doesn't really spare anyone. All the performances are excellent. Helen Mirren, of course, as Elizabeth II. American James Cromwell as Philip. You would have thought, this cast? Not at all.
Yeah.
Alex Jennings as Prince Charles. Sylvia Sims as the Queen Mother. Roger Allam as the Queen's private secretary. And Michael Sheen as Tony Blair and the late Helen McCrory as Cherie Blair. And they all have multi-layered characters, even though some of them don't have a lot of screen time. They're multi-layered, except maybe for Prince Philip. He really comes off as a total jerk. There's nothing really noble about Prince Philip in that movie.
Well, he was kind of a jerk.
No, and the genius of it, and I know you love Lincoln too, is rather than, as you say, trying to do the whole
Yes.
biography, just
Yeah.
focus on one incident.
Yeah.
And let that sort of tell the story of the person building out from there.
I remember when it was first coming out, I had absolutely no interest
I remember
in
that,
seeing
yeah.
no interest in seeing it. And then the reviews were really good, and it's like, well, I guess I gotta see it. And then I saw it, it's like, wow, this is a great movie.
And of course, it's...
And she is superb in it.
Yeah. She literally... And that was a tough year for the Oscars. Because you had Judi Dench in Notes on the Scandal, and you had Penelope Cruz for Vulgar, and I forget who else. But it was a tough year, but she won it easily. And they have actual CNN and BBC News footage is added to the entire 6 days, which really makes the film exciting, even though you know what happens.
Right.
And there was a joke going around about a year after the movie came out that when George W. Bush met Queen Elizabeth, he congratulated her on winning the Academy Award.
No.
It was a joke,
Yeah,
I think.
maybe.
But Frears, I'm sorry, he's really an unsung director. He tends to direct well-received films. Among his others were My Beautiful Laundrette,
Loved it.
Prick Up Your Ears, another
Loved
excellent
it
bio.
even more.
A playwright, Joe Orton. Dangerous Liaisons, The Grifters, High Fidelity,
Love that.
Philomena, and most recently, last year, did either one of you see The Lost King?
No.
Lost King was a biographical film, the story of Philippa Langley, the woman who initiated the search to find King Richard's the third.
Oh, when
the
they
third,
found it in like a parking lot.
Yes, in a parking
yes,
lot,
yes.
and how she fought with the
Found what?
his
Richard
remains.
III's tomb.
tomb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins is in it. It's I
Love
think it's
Sally
been on
Hawkins.
TV. Anyway, and how she fought with the University of Leicester over the credit of it. It was a fascinating film, but he does good work.
Yeah,
And,
no, very solid, very not flashy, and
the TV series The Queen, which Morgan also wrote.
The Crown.
The Crown, is pretty good. It's
Oh, I think it's the first few seasons are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when Diana comes in,
It
it loses.
kind of loses.
It's just not as interesting.
And he also wrote a play. Did you see the play, The Audience, with
No.
Helen Mirren? It was okay. You see her with every prime minister that she ever had, and she did not like Margaret Thatcher.
No, well,
Oh no!
No, well, you see that in The
they go
Crown,
through that in
too.
the
A little
Crown
bit.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw Helen Mirren. My mom was over, so we watched that Thursday Murder Club.
How is
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I've read the
Very,
book.
It was
very
kinda fun.
Yeah, I read the
And-
book.
Helen
and
Mirren.
Helen Mirren
Yeah.
is effortless and wonderful in
Yeah.
it. So
Anyway, that's my
I
number.
kind of like that you never really find out what it was that she did in her previous when she was actually working before she retired.
yeah, you get the feeling like MI5 or MI6, but yeah, no, and love a great cast and Ben Kingsley and Pierce Brosnan, nicely done.
Anyway, The Queen is my number 7.
Number 7, John. Oh, number 7.
Okay, my number 7 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes, God, I love that
2019,
movie.
Celine Sciamma. When we did our best movies of the decade for 2010 to 2019,
Which I think is episode like 17 and
Yeah,
18.
well,
or
I
18
had
and
not
19.
seen this movie yet, so I'm really glad that since then I have seen it. Oh, God, it's gorgeous.
Isn't it? I'm totally with you. And I even Mike didn't like, but I like the little film she did afterwards, Petite Maman. You know, the sort of fairy tale in the forest with the, I love her.
But during the late 18th century, a painter arrives on a remote island in Brittany, commissioned to paint a portrait of a young woman by her mother. Eloise, who is to be married to an Italian nobleman, has previously refused to pose for a portrait and does not want to get married. So the painter, Marianne, pretends to be Eloise's hired companion, spends time with her, and tries to memorize Eloise's face and paints the portrait in secret. Marianne is dissatisfied with the portrait and feels she has betrayed Eloise's trust. Since they have become closer and closer, we can see where it's going to go. Marianne shows the painting to Eloise, who feels it does not capture her true nature, and Marianne destroys the painting. One evening they read the story of Orpheus and Eurydice and debate the reason Orpheus turns around to look at his wife, causing her to be returned to the underworld. The story is a very important part of the movie because so much of the subtext is about the gaze, and I mean the gaze in capital letters.
Yeah. And
Some
not
of
the male gaze for
Yeah,
once.
yes. We can say the female gaze. Some of the themes explored are love and separation because the film explores their growing love and intimacy. Well, they both know that separation is inevitable, which builds so much tension in the movie. Art and identity, about how we can use art to, besides part of our personality, but use it to deal with parts in our life that we can't deal with in reality. And the female gaze. This movie is so visually stunning. All the compositions and use of color express the subtext of the characters. Hitchcock would be proud.
No, and it looks like Fragonard or Courbet or
Yeah,
something,
yes.
like 18th,
Very,
19th
very
century
much.
French
Oh, God,
painting.
it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful. And that last scene is one of the most moving I've seen in years. I don't want to go into detail because anyone who's not seen the
And
movie,
I haven't.
who's not seen the movie, it will ruin it for you. I would just say that music becomes very important in the plot of this movie.
I could not agree with you more. I think it's a stunning film.
I want. I will definitely make a.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
I mean,
no, you have to see it.
better to see on a big screen, but
True.
It
but
always is.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
It always is right. Speaking of better to see on a big screen, my number 7, which surprises me constantly because I am not generally a fan of this man's work, is the film that both John and I had at number 2 on our Best of the Teens episode, and that is Terry Malick's The Tree of Life. And I just... I'm not a Malick fan. I love Badlands. And Days of Heaven may be the most beautiful color film ever shot. But,
gorgeous, yeah.
But the dialogue and the
Yeah.
characters, and I
Yeah.
didn't like Thin Red Line and The New World and the one he's
The
done
New World
since
is
then.
not bad. No, that's bad.
And that one with the studio. What was the one?
But I think he does everything right here, and he takes some real chances. I mean, the putative story is about Sean Penn's character, the arc, kind of looking back at his life, particularly to the moment when his family finds out that his younger brother has died, presumably in some kind of, maybe Vietnam, maybe Korea. I don't know how long ago. It's supposed to be some sort of military action.
Yeah, you're never quite exactly sure. He's in the military. You're never exactly sure, like, how. It's not really said. It doesn't matter. Actually.
Right, and it doesn't matter because the film, and this was what finally convinced me of Jessica Chastain's genius. You saw Doll's House, right?
Oh God, twice.
Yeah, that further affirmed it. But her first reaction is, so many times in the film, people ask of God, of the universe, why? Why did this happen? Remember, there's the moment where their boys and one of their friends drowns, and we hear in voiceover saying, what did he do? Was he bad? What did he do to deserve this? And the whole film is that tension between Jessica Chastain, the mother, and her idea and representation of grace, and Brad Pitt as the father, and at nature versus grace.
Yeah, that's the constant battle. One is the disciplinarian, and she's the more compassionate, forgiving one.
Right, and doesn't one of them say, mother and father, you wrestle inside me always? It's such a good line.
Yeah.
But the thing
that's towards the end of the Sean Penn character. And let's make sure that the opening is the quote from Job.
Right, yeah. The quote, where were you when I created the heaven? That God does not owe us an answer. You believe or you don't believe, and that's all. Yeah. And how she moves from this bitterness about the universe or God or whatever taking her son away, and her last words in the movie are, you can have him. I give him to you.
Yeah.
And she has moved to the ultimate state of grace, and like God himself, the Christian God anyway, is willing to give her only son. And it is just so beautiful. And we haven't even talked about the 25-minute "Let me outdo Kubrick." Here's the history of the universe.
I love that part.
I think it's just. I told you guys I got to see it at BAM with a symphony orchestra, and the music from that part, the Lacrimosa, is just so beautiful. It is incredibly intimate portrait of a family, and yet it's about the most universal questions in the world. And the end. The end caused some controversy with everybody walking on the beach.
Yeah.
Could be after the end of time. Could be the 8.5 thing where it's everyone we've seen in the film sort of, gathered together. I'm not sure. But it feels more like after the end of time.
I kind of saw it as a moment of afterlife, although you're not quite sure was the Sean Penn character granted some sort of special visit in his subconscious or in a dream or some other way, or has he died at this point? You're not exactly sure. It can be interpreted in a lot of different ways.
And there are 800 points in this film where it could tip over into pretension. And a lot of people felt it did. And again,
I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, I
know a lot of people hated it. I love it.
I normally would, because I always find Malick a little, we're making the Thin Red Line, which is ostensibly about a battle in World War II on a Pacific island, and we spend half the time looking at butterflies and grass waving. So I'm like, seriously? Come on, man. So, but I just, it all came together for me in this picture. I love
all the shots he has of, the children. Like there's so many moments where the way he uses the camera in those moments, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, we know the other thing that's sort of extra outside of the film is the mystique about Malick himself. He never gives interviews. We know almost nothing about him.
Yeah.
We suspect that this might be autobiographical because I believe he had a brother who died very young, I think possibly at his own hand, so we don't know, but it's everything. It is literally the whole universe in one film.
I was thinking about putting this movie in my top 5. I'm sure, like you guys, if you ask me tomorrow, I'll change my list
totally
again.
different. Yeah, absolutely.
Because one thing I realized is there's so many good movies that came out the last 25 years, and it's like, well, if I choose this movie, I can't put that movie in. So it's like every time you decide to choose something, you're taking something out.
Don't forget that, dear listeners, because all we hear is about the decline of this and the decline of that, and the strikes killed and streaming killed this, and the global market killed this, and yet we're struggling to narrow this list down. There have been some amazing films.
I stated this before when we did our episode about the best movies of the decade, because we both had it on, as you said before, as our number 2. The thing about the movie that really struck me is that in one way it made me feel very, very vulnerable, but at the same time safe
because of connection.
Yeah, and
to each other.
It's sort of like when you have a relationship with someone that grows and grows and grows and becomes more and more intimate, and eventually you feel safe that you can tell them anything, and you're allowed to show your vulnerability. That's sort of how this movie made me feel.
Yeah, I just
the part with the dinosaurs. Some people were like, "What the hell's going on?" But I love that part.
Is that are we witnessing the birth of the dinosaur who finds the other dinosaur that's been injured and lets it be? And we're like, okay, is this the birth of mercy? Is this the birth of grace?
And I had said that I thought I saw it more as the struggle between the two parents. The one who was very, very disciplined because he's like, it's a hard world out there. I don't want because he's very bitter.
Yes,
he was a frustrated composer. Plus, he was an inventor, and he kept seeing these things that he wanted to do, move up the ladder, being thwarted. Wherein the mother is very compassionate and forgiving. So, it's a good balance if it's done the right way for children.
And to me, it's the Malick film where everything comes together. So from 2011, that is Malick's Tree of Life, my number 7. And our final ones for today, Mikey, number 6.
This is probably going to be the only comedy on any of our list. And you always hear my complaints about how few good comedies.
We did an episode on the death of comedy in the teens,
But this one I had to put down because I love it, and it's not making anybody's list. It definitely is not on the New York Times list. But from 2001, Gosford Park.
Sure.
I
You're an Altman guy.
Directed by Robert Altman, written by Julian Fellows. This was Altman's third to final film. His last two were The Company, which was about a dance company, which was kind of boring, and A Prairie Home Companion, which was okay. He was 77 when he shot this film, and it turned out to be his second most financially successful film, after MASH. The original idea came from Bob Balaban, who wanted to be in a period Agatha Christie-like murder mystery where both the upper class and the servants would be suspects. Tom Stoppard was approached to writing the script, but he wasn't interested. Then Gene Marsh and Eileen Atkins, the creators of Upstairs Downstairs, were offered the chance, and they refused. Then Julian Phillips came on board, and this was really his first screenplay. He was primarily an actor, a TV and stage actor in Britain. And he also wrote novels under the pseudonym of Rebecca Grenville in the 1970s. The cast is British royalty. Dame Maggie Smith, Dame Helen Mirren, Dame Eileen Atkins, Dame Kristen Scott Thomas, Sir Michael Gabon, Sir Alan Bates, Sir Derek Jacobi, Sir Stephen Fry, plus Emily Watson, Richard E. Grant, Clive Owen, Jeremy Northam, Charles Dance, Kelly MacDonald, and, of course, a role for Bob Balaban.
I would hope so.
Who also served as one of the producers. Now, it takes place at a shooting party in 1932, and there is a murder, but as a murder mystery, it takes kind of a backseat to just the very, very funny and frankly very bitchy dialogue that it has. And unlike Downton Abbey and The Gilded Age, which are children of Gosford Park,
No
I mean,
doubt.
without
Yeah.
Gosford
Yeah, no.
Park, there would not be a Downton Abbey
Oh, yeah.
or Gilded Age. But in this one, no one from the upper class is remotely spared. They are all awful people.
Yeah. Yes.
Rules of the
Including
game.
the incompetent police inspector.
Yeah.
And it's funny with Altman, who as I said I love, but he had, in his career, so many peaks and valleys. I mean, in the
Yeah.
70s, he had MASH and Long Goodbye and Nashville.
McCabe.
And Mrs. Miller. And then in the 80s, he
Filming plays
filming
and such.
plays,
yeah.
and some of them really badly done. Beyond Therapy was one of his worst. And then he came back with a 1-2 whammy with The Player and
Shortcuts.
Shortcuts. And then in the 90s, he was more of an even keel. He was doing Pret-a-Porter, which I think is rather underrated. The Ginger Man, Kansas City, Cookie's Fortune, Dr. T and the Women, and then Gosford Park turned out to be his last peak.
Yeah.
And,
And also, it's very different from his previous. work.
absolutely.
Right.
When I saw
Yeah.
the one sheet in the lobby, I thought, this is going to be awful. He's not going to be able to work with these Brits. They're not going to. And it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
And I mentioned now all these people. These are not cameos that they do. They're all solid roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Altman. There's always
Yeah.
the big...
Yeah. It's just.
There's a lot of humor in it. I don't know if I'd call it a comedy.
I
though.
would.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I mean, because towards the end it goes.
It does a
really
little
hard.
bit.
Oh no! When there's a reveal. That
Yeah, I see the
it's-
murder mystery. Yeah, I guess I still would call it a comedy, but not a comedy in the way of Mel Brooks or anything.
Well,
but,
no.
I do love this movie, and as I said, I'm surprised I haven't seen it on anybody's list.
Nope, there you go. Altman's last great hurrah.
Yeah.
All right, at Michael's number 6, that's Gosford Park. Johnny,
Okay, In the Mood for Love.
which is
2000
also my number 6. There we go. All right,
Okay, should I just keep reading here?
Go.
2000, directed by Wong Kar-wai. This is a love story that is more about what is not said than what is said. More about what doesn't happen instead of what happens. An exploration of missed opportunities and restrained feelings. In 1962, a man and a woman, played by Tony Leung and Maggie Chung, both excellent in it, discover that their spouses are having an affair with each other. As they spend more and more time together, they gradually develop deep feelings for one another, but they decide, to most people's, I think, frustration, that they can't be together due to social decorum and because it means that they are just as bad as their spouses. It's one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. So much of it is said visually in the compositions and use of color and through looks
And
and,
the music
gestures
and-
between the characters, the use of music, and the end is absolutely heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. And the sequel, 2046, was not
No.
nearly close
I didn't
to
see.
what
I
it
didn't
was.
see the sequel.
Yeah, it was really not very good.
I heard. Yeah.
There's an intertitle at the end. He remembers those vanished years, as though looking through a dusty window pane. The past is something he could see but not touch, and everything he sees is blurred and indistinct.
And maybe the greatest mood piece ever made. I
Yeah.
mean, as
Yeah.
beautiful as the story
Yes.
is, interesting as it's the intensity of you really feel everything in that
Yes.
I
film.
mean, this is
Yes.
a movie definitely you need to see at a theater.
Yeah, if
And it's because so much of it is said visually.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and like I said, just the looks and glances between the two of them. It's just
And how much do I love the fact that when the Daniels did Everything Everywhere All at Once, one of the multiverses they end up in is In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
You know, which is just like shows you how. And In the Mood for Love in the 2022 Sight and Sound poll was in the top 10, and I find no reason to argue with that. I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect jewel of a movie, and as you say, John says so much with so few words. And this is a visual medium in the end, as much as I love good dialogue.
Well,
and it's perfect. It's perfect, and I don't say that about too many films. So for both John and for me, Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for Love from 2000 is our number 6. So you'll have to hang on for a couple of weeks to find out 5 to 1. We'll also do maybe a little honorable mention
Yeah,
list.
I hope so.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think,
absolutely.
I think we're going to have big honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this
You
point,
can do one for 25 years.
why not? And then, so now we move on to America's favorite section of the podcast, and we haven't met in 3-4 months, so there's a lot of people to talk about.
I'm only doing half of people who have died since our last
Our
podcast. So if you
necrology.
don't hear Terrence Stamp, you will hear that next time. And we will not be doing, obviously, Robert Redford. We're going to do
We're going to do a whole episode on Redford.
on Redford because
Because he
deserves
deserves
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Joe Don Baker, 89, character actor. After having studied at the Actors Studio, he appeared in small roles in Cool Hand Luke, Guns of the Magnificent Seven, and Junior Bonner as Steve McQueen's younger brother.
Good Peckinpah film.
That's one of the few other films of Peckinpah I like. Before he struck it big in Walking Tall, playing the real-life person Sheriff Buford Pusser, about an incorruptible leader who finds it necessary to subvert the law in order to save it, which I'd never seen. Have you?
Oh, I saw
yes.
Walking Tall when it
I
came.
I never
Yeah.
saw it. Apparently now it's come out that Pusser was the murderer.
Yeah, but there's that. But it was like Billy Jack and those other
I never saw Billy
low-budget
Jack
films.
either.
Yeah.
Anyway, the film was made for $500,000 and made $40 million worldwide.
Yeah.
The same year he appeared in Don Siegel's Charlie Varick as a brutal hitman.
Great film.
Other films includes Fletch, The Grass Harp, Cape Fear, Mars Attacks, Reality Bites, and 3 James Bond movies.
Indeed.
GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and The Living Daylights.
Right.
Billy Williams, 96, British cinematographer. He won an Oscar with Ronnie Taylor for Gandhi. Williams had a slip disc during the shoot and had to leave for 4 weeks, so that's why they shared the Oscar. He also received Oscar nominations for Women in Love and On Golden Pond. Other notable films he shot were The Wind and the Lion, Sunday Bloody Sunday, Voyage of the Damned, Going in Style, $1 Billion Brain, and the Iraq scene in The Exorcist. And I remember with fondness, even at the time, his work on Women in Love. Because
Yeah.
I will never
Beautiful.
forget.
It's really beautiful.
Some
Yeah.
of it looks almost like it's done with total natural light, which it was
Yeah.
the wrestling scene. And I remember at the time being disappointed that it did not take home cinematography. Charles Strouse, 96, Broadway and film composer. His best-known stage works were the music for Bye Bye Birdie and Annie.
Yep.
His film scores included Bonnie and Clyde, The Night They Raided Minsky's, There Was a Crooked Man, and Just Tell Me What You Want. But his best-known song is Those Were the Days, the opening song of All in the Family, which he wrote with Lee Adams, the lyricist to Birdie. And that is a great song.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Everybody knows it. George Wendt, 76, actor, best known for the TV series Cheers, where he played barfly Norm Peterson. Also appeared in the films No Small Affair, Fletch, Gung Ho, Never Say Die, Man of the House, and The Climb. Most of his 170 credits were for television.
He was part of the Bill Swirsky Chicago Bears.
I know,
yeah.
the Bears.
The Bears.
That was funny.
You okay there, John? Yeah, I got a piece of kielbasa lodged in my aorta there, Bob.
You would take a tiny.
Any predictions on the game there, John? Yeah, Bears 307 to 6.
Could beat the entire Giants. It would be 96-0.
God, I love that character.
That was good.
Yeah.
Robert Benton,
Ah,
92, film
big one.
director and screenwriter. He was a writer, also an assistant art director for Esquire, when he and fellow writer David Newman wrote the screenplay for Bonnie and Clyde, which was considered one of the most celebrated sleeper hits of the 1960s and a landmark film. The script was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, but lost to Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Benton and Newman went on to write for There Was a Crooked Man for Joseph Mankiewicz and What's Up, Doc for Peter Bogdanovich, along with Buck Henry, who also contributed to that script. Benton's first feature-length film as a director was the Western Bad Company with Jeff Bridges. His second film was The Late Show, a detective satire that starred Art Carney and Lily Tomlin.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I really like The Late Show.
I haven't seen that since the 70s, but
Turner has it occasionally. He won his second Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay, but it lost to Annie Hall. 2 years later, though, he struck it big when he directed and wrote the screenplay for Kramer vs. Kramer, which he adapted from the book for Avery Corman. The film about how a husband and a small son survives after a mother walks from them. The film was the highest-grossing film of 1979 and won 5 Oscars, including 2 for Benton as director and screenwriter. The film was originally offered to Francois Truffaut, who turned it down, which I didn't know. 5 years later, Benton won his 3rd Oscar for the original screenplay of Places in the Heart, a Depression-era story about a widow's financial struggle with her farm. It also won Benton his 2nd nomination as Best Director. Among his other 11 films were Still of the Night, Nadine, The Human Stain, Twilight, Feast of Love, and my favorite, Nobody's Fool.
Yeah, I love Nobody's
the
Fool.
Newman,
Love Nobody's Fool. And
Nobody's Fool. I love this.
It's kind of neglected.
I'm going to ask you guys if I could have that as my
do that for your hidden gem. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I want to do.
I'm trying to remember what it was nominated for, because Newman was nominated.
And the script, and that's it.
And that was it.
That was the year of Pulp Fiction and Quiz Show.
I don't remember
and
how
the
it did.
Shawshank Temp.
I don't remember how it did financially.
It was not a huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie
I think
so.
we could call it a hidden gem then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no
people
one
don't know it,
I-
and there's so many movies called Nobody's Fool that came after.
I
it,
love
which-
Nobody's Fool.
I love that movie so much.
Newman just like glows in the movie.
Yeah, I think it's, along with Hud, it's his best performance. Sally Field, who won her 2nd Oscar for Places in the Heart, said in an interview that Benton connects to the most minuet things, the slight movement of hands. Paul Newman, who worked with him twice, said that Benton allows things to develop. He just eavesdrops. But yeah, Nobody's Fool.
Yeah.
In fact, after he died, I made it a point to watch it. I love that movie so much. Pepper Scott, 90, film and television actress. Her film debut was as Lucy Edwards, the older sister of Debbie Edwards in John Ford's The Searchers.
Right.
Other films included Auntie Mame, My Six Loves, Petulia, and most notably, Norman Lear's Cold Turkey, where she played Dick Van Dyke's emotionally abused wife, and in my opinion, steals the movie.
Which you did on one of our Hidden Gems
One
episodes,
of our Hidden Gems, yes. She married producer Lee Rich, founding partner of Lorimar Productions, and in 1993 founded the International Monitor Institute, a nonprofit that gathered evidence to assist the prosecution of war crimes in the Balkans, Sierra Leone, Congo, Cambodia, and Iraq. Scott's uncle was the writer-producer Adrian Scott, one of the Hollywood 10 who were blacklisted. Her father was Alan Scott, nominated screenwriter for Top Hat and Swing Time. So she was definitely
Interesting.
in the
Hollywood
business.
royalty.
Yeah. She after she didn't really act much after the Norman Lear Cold Turkey. I'd see her once in a Columbo as a victim. Michael Romer, 97. Do you know him?
Wow.
Yeah, did the film with Ivan Dixon
Yeah.
in
Yep.
64.
Yep. Independent filmmaker and Yale professor. 1939 was when he was 11 and living in Berlin before he and his sister had been among thousands of Jewish children rescued from Nazi Germany and sent to England. He came to the U.S. in 1945 and NBC gave him the opportunity to make Cortel Casillo, a 46-minute documentary about slum life in the Palmero, Sicily, that he made with Robert M. Young. It was so grim that NBC hesitated to put it on the air. It did not reappear until it was shown at the Sundance Film Festival in 1993. Jesus. His 2 major films were 1964's Nothing But a Man with
right.
Ivan Dixon and Abby Lincoln, The film, which you've seen that, haven't you?
Oh my goodness,
Have you
I
seen
own
it?
it. Yes.
Oh, it's really, really good.
Amazing.
The film, which was a story of a black railroad worker married to a preacher's daughter in Alabama, was well received, but did not find audiences because distributors balked at releasing the film.
In the South,
It was
especially.
shot in New Jersey because Romer feared problems in directing it in segregated Alabama. It was re-released in 1993 to wide acclaim and was added to the Library of Congress National Film Registry. In 1969, Romer wrote and directed The Plot Against Harry.
Sure.
You see, I just saw that last year at Film Forum. A comedy about a small-time numbers racketeer. At private screenings, nobody laughed. But then it was rediscovered in 1990 and enjoyed a new life, a theatrical run, and it was nominated for 6 Independent Spirit Awards. Janet Maslin called it a funny, sharply drawn, and appealingly modest film, and Jay Hoberman called Romer in a 2024 interview as an empathetic director of actors and an unsentimental humanist, one of the few American filmmakers who share those qualities with Jean Renoir.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bold company.
But I those 2 films, it's just like, yeah, but he was mainly a teacher. Bruce Logan, 78, cinematographer and special effects artist. His most famous scene was destroying the Death Star in George Lucas's Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope. This is where Luke Skywalker demolishes the Death Star by firing 2 proton torpedoes into it from his X-Wing fighter. He worked in animation in the 1960s, but received his first big break being hired as an animation artist for Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. He then moved into cinematography, working for Roger Corman's Big Bag Mama and Jackson County Jail. After Star Wars, he worked as a cinematographer for Tron, a Disney science fiction thriller that mixed live action and computerized imagery to tell the story of a video game developer played by Jeff Bridges, who hacks into his computer to learn who stole his game, and who is then zapped into the computer. You saw that, didn't you?
I was 17 when Tron came out,
Yeah,
so yeah,
I
I was
actually
the
saw
audience
that.
for it.
was-
I mean, it was kind of a silly movie, but completely unique looking
It
at the
was.
time.
It was
I mean,
very odd.
Not like anything else.
The film was a flop, but has since been called a cult classic. He also worked on miniatures for the comedy Airplane, and worked on visual effects for films such as Firefox and Batman Forever. Loretta Swit, 87, actress, known for mainly one role, Margaret Houlihan, in the TV series MASH. The show ran 11 seasons, and Swit was nominated for an Emmy for 10 times, winning twice.
Wow.
During the course of the show, she was instrumental in humanizing the character. After 2 seasons, no one called her Hot Lips anymore. She appeared on Broadway in Same Time Next Year and The Mystery of Edwin Drood, and occasionally appeared in films, most notably in Blake Edwards' S.O.B.
Wow.
as gossip columnist Polly Reed. Enzo Stratola, 85, child actor who played the son in Vittorio De Sica's Bicycle Thief. Yeah, the young Enzo was plucked from the streets by De Sica on his way home from school. The shoot had already started. De Sica followed the child back to his home where his parents recognized him. Enzo auditioned for a month. It was between him and another boy. When Enzo received the role, the other boy was given a bicycle as a consolation prize. Sorolla said,
No irony there.
said he would rather have preferred the bicycle than getting the role. Although he did do work in other films, including The Barefoot Contessa, he never had the kind of role that he had in the De Sica film, and he became a clerk in Rome's land registry office. This is a biggie. Marcel Orfis, 97, German-born filmmaker, son of director Max Orfis, who is best known for documentaries, especially his 1969 masterpiece, The Sorrow and the Pity, which chronicled a town in Nazi-occupied France and exploded the myth of widespread French resistance to the occupation.
Just a little.
Yeah. Marcel, with his family, fled to France in 1938, and then when the Nazis invaded, fled to the U.S., where the elder Orfis directed films in Hollywood. Marcel moved back to France in the 50s, where he began to make films, but his 3 feature films were not successful. He said in an interview, "I was born under the shadow of a genius. I don't have an inferiority complex. I am inferior."
Well, that's a pretty high bar if you're talking about Max Ophuls.
Yeah. One film he directed, Banana Peel, a detective film which starred Jean Moreau and Jean-Paul Belmondo, was somewhat profitable. His first documentary was in 1967, Munich, or Peace in Our Time, about the 1938 diplomatic surrender by Neville Chamberlain to Hitler's claim on Czechoslovakia. The form of this film, interviews with witnesses of the era, combined with archival material, was a sort of warm-up to the sorrow and the pity. He was originally supposed to make the film for French television, but he was dismissed for his sympathetic coverage of the French student protest of 1968. This I did not know. The film was completed with financial and technical assistance from German and Swiss state television networks. However, it was banned on French TV until 1981. That I did know.
Not the most flattering portrayal of the French.
The bluntness of the film paved the way for revisionist scholarly accounts of wartime France, including Robert O. Paxton's Vichy France, Old Guard and the New Order, and Henry Rousseau's The Vichy Syndrome, History and Memory in France since 1944. Now, the film was a critical hit in the U.S. and was nominated for an Oscar in 1971, but somehow lost to the Hellstrom Chronicle. I remember, I was 16 at the time, and I'd seen both films, and I go, what the...
Yeah.
Marcel's other documentaries included The Harvest of My Lai in 1970, The Memory of Justice in 1976, which examined the Nuremberg trials, and Hotel Terminus in 1988, which told the story of Klaus Barbie, the escaped Gestapo officer who lived in Bolivia after World War II until he was extradited to France in 1983.
Remember that? Yep.
Even though it won Orpheus his long overdue Oscar, he conceded that there was a problem. He couldn't interview or show him on television, show him on trial because of Barbie's refusal to appear in court. And critics at the time, it was a good movie.
It was,
Very good.
It wasn't Sorrow and the Pity.
But critics kind of think that this was his makeup Oscar
Okay.
for losing.
Yeah.
Harris Yulin, film and stage actor. For his early career, he did mostly stage work, but he made his film debut in End of the Road in 1971. He played Wyatt Earp in Doc, a corrupt Miami police detective in Scarface, a judge in Ghostbusters 2, Jenna Rollins' younger brother in Woody Allen's Another Woman, excuse me, and a White House National Security Advisor in Clear and Present Danger.
Sure.
He also worked extensively in television, playing Joseph McCarthy in the 1985 miniseries Robert Kennedy and His Times. In addition to acting and directing, he taught at Juilliard School and the Graduate School of the Arts at Columbia University. Lalo Schifrin, am I pronouncing that right?
Schifrin, yeah.
Schifrin, Argentine-born composer who wrote 100 film and television scores, but who's best known for his score for the TV series and later films Mission Impossible. He received Oscar nominations for Cool Hand Luke, The Fox, Voyage of the Damned, The Amityville Horror, The Competition, and The Sting Part 2, but he never won. He was given an honorary Oscar in 2018.
And worked a lot with Eastwood, I think, in the 70s. Didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. One of Schifrin's most famous films was Bullet. During the famous car chase, there was no background music. This was at the assistance of Schifrin. When the film's director, Peter Yates, objected, Schifrin responded, "Silence is also music."
Yes.
Yep, and it totally makes that scene.
Absolutely. And my last one is Michael Madsen, 67, tough guy actor who appeared in 346 films and TV programs.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. He was a mechanic when he went to see a Steppenwolf production of Mice and Men and went backstage to meet John Malkovich. The actor took down his address and sent him information on acting classes. A year later, he appeared in that same play with Steppenwolf, playing a ranch hand, but it was a different production. He made his film debut in 1983 with War Games, and then later in 1984, he was in Racing with the Moon. He played Tom Baker, a poet friend of Jim Morrison in The Doors. He was also featured in Thelma and Louise and Free Willy. But the film that gave him notoriety was Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs as the sinister Mr. Blonde.
Mr. Blonde.
He was also offered the role of Vincent Vega in Pulp Fiction, but had to turn down because he was already committed to filming Wyatt Earp. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought Travolta was always the first.
And I can never listen to Stuck in the Middle with You again the same way after Michael Madsen.
Little fire scarecrow?
He did appear in Tarantino's Kill Bill 1 and 2 and The Hateful Eight, and had a cameo in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His sister was actress Virginia Madsen of Sideways.
Right, from Sideways.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Okay, that's it.
And there it is. All right. So,
Wow.
It's going to be a long one, this one and next one, because we have spent so much time in between episodes. But thank you, Michael, for doing a better job than the Academy ever could or will.
Thank you.
And we now move on to America's co-favorite segment of the podcast. That would be John Meyer's semi-monthly, semi-quote quiz. John, take it away.
Last episode's quote was, "I don't want to survive, I want to live." The answer is 12 Years a Slave, 2012, directed by Steve McQueen. If you haven't seen it,
Oh my.
it's required viewing.
100%.
Yes. So, the new quote is, "Herr Janning, it came to that the first time you sentenced a man to death you knew to be innocent." He knows.
Michael, you got it?
Yeah.
No, I don't yet. So, if you want to find out the answer to that one, or think you know and want to check, please check out our highly polished website at www.vintagesand.com. So, here we are at the end, but we are only halfway through our list of our favorite films of the century. So our October episode 62, we will conclude that and also give our honorable mentions. I want to mention at this point, as I always do, that Vintage Sand is a 5 9s and a 4 production. Want to thank Melissa for her tech help, Mama Sue for the use of the hall, and Theo for the kick-ass logo. Remember, please, that we are now on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Check out the website, as I said. That is www.vintagesand.com, and leave us your feedback and suggestions for topics for future episodes. And since we have no parent company, hopefully they won't pull us off the air and censor us, and we'll
That's
be
right.
back for episode 62, and hopefully, yeah, I know, and hopefully freedom will reign at some point
I have
again.
much to say, but I will refrain from saying
Yes. All right. There. Unlike Hannah Einbinder at the Emmys, we're gonna proper place and proper time that thing. So there's that. So until then, keep the faith, my friends. Hang in there. Support the arts in every way in terms of attendance and financial support that you can. And as ever, please keep in mind our most fervent hope that your favorite films will always be streaming.